Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Lorena. I'm a self-concept and manifestation coach, guide, mentor, and I'm here to help you change your state of being, step into the most aligned, most authentic version of yourself, rebirth yourself into your future self, and consciously manifest all of the things that you desire. Today's topic is a bit juicy. It's one that I've held back on creating a video on for a long time. What I want to speak about today is manifesting a specific person. It's what many people want to know about from me all of the time. Many people who even start working with me want to know about this, want to do this, want to manifest a specific person, have the desire for a specific person. And to be honest, if you look on YouTube, most successful videos on manifestation, particularly more in the realm of Joseph Murphy, Neville Goddard, the law of assumption, in that side of manifestation, in that part of the community, most of the successful videos you'll find are about this. How to get your ex back fast, how to manifest your SB. And I don't speak about this much in general terms. I've never created a video on it before. And no judgment, no shade at all. Definitely not towards anybody who wants to know about this. Also not towards anybody who creates videos on this. But some of these videos, not all of them of course, but some of them are very clickbaity. So I never felt good creating a video on it. But there's a lot I have to say. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I have a lot of experience with this also, actually, both directly in my own life and also through working with clients and seeing their journey with manifesting a specific person or not doing that. There's going to be a lot in this video, and I will also say from the start, I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm going to speak to everything that's alive for me with regards to this topic. So I'm not going to necessarily give you like a how-to structure. All of the content on my channel is about how to manifest anything you want. There's no judgment towards anything you desire. But before we get into it, I want to let you know that because my coaching program is now officially 1 year old, my little baby has grown, I actually have a little promotion going on right now. So if you're watching this in real time or shortly after this video goes live, I have a lot of discounts and offers and special things going on right now for you. So I'll put all of that in the description box or in a comment below the video if you're interested. Take advantage of it. It's a one-off. And one of the things I have a promotion on right now, huge discount, is a masterclass on manifesting relationships, manifesting love. Specific person or not, doesn't matter, it applies to both. So if you're keen on that, do it now because the price is going to go back up. If you like this video, drop me a like, leave me a comment, share it if you find it supportive or if you feel like somebody needs to see this. And if you're new here and you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Please subscribe. And before I get into this, I actually want to give you some disclaimers as well. The first of which is just my viewpoint on this, because you will see people who are only creating content on manifesting a specific person and who are very pro manifesting a specific person. And then you have people who tell you to go more general and to not manifest a specific person. And then there's this whole discussion on free will. I have a video on free will as well. But I want to preface this by saying I am neither pro nor against. It is my belief that everybody's desires are incredibly unique and personal to them. And it's not my place to tell you who or what to manifest or not to manifest. That's all up to you. So you will never get approval from me that this is what you should do. And you will also never ever hear from me that you shouldn't do this. It's your choice. If you came to me as a client and you said to me, I want to manifest a specific person, I'm here for it. I will support you. I will guide you towards making that happen. But I will also get you to question the whys and the intention behind it, and to get behind what your ego's intention is with this. But more on this later in the video. The second disclaimer I want to make: if you are currently in a deep need or attachment to be with a specific person, if this is so your biggest desire and you think about nothing else and you're a bit obsessive over it, or it's the thing that currently puts you in a bit of desperation or unhappiness, then I want to warn you that some of the things that I may say might activate you. They might make you feel defensive, they might make you feel activated if this is the place you're at. And trust me, I've been there. I've been in a place where if somebody said anything remotely that questioned what I wanted to believe, which at the time was I wanted to believe to be with somebody specific, I would have felt very activated and defensive, and I probably wouldn't have continued watching a video like this. So if that happens for you, you don't need to watch this. But I would invite you to just inquire and to just dive a little deeper and to just be open-minded as to what I'm going to say. Because as I said, I'm not going to tell you yes or no. This is up to you. I'm just going to give some points, some perspectives that I think are often dismissed or neglected and that are super important in the process, regardless of who you want to manifest. But it might be a bit activating. In fact, I'm fully prepared to possibly lose a bunch of subscribers or receive a bunch of defensive comments, and that's okay. If you feel like unsubscribing because of this video, or you're not ready to hear this, or it triggers something in your belief system, or you feel like you need to leave a comment, go for it. But this is a really important topic for me, and I believe it's going to serve a lot of people, either directly or in the long run. If you're still here, if you didn't click off, I really want to ask you to keep an open mind and to listen. You can have your own perspective. You can disagree with anything I say, always. You're your own sovereign human being. My truth isn't the ultimate truth. It's just one path of many. But if you notice that anything that I'm saying makes you a bit defensive, I just want to ask you to remain curious and to maybe go within and ask yourself why that is. What beliefs, what are assumptions are behind that, and why you possibly feel activated by it. Because often when we feel defensive about something, it's because there's a part of us that doubts what we want to believe. So now let's get into this topic. Personally, I have manifested a specific person in the past. It's not a story that I've ever told in detail because, first of all, it involves another person. I am not with this person anymore, and I believe it wouldn't be fair on them to tell the whole story. It's also a very complicated story, and it's a private story, and I don't want to share it with the whole world. I share it with my clients, but I don't feel comfortable sharing it publicly for the whole internet to see. But I have manifested a specific person before, and this was somebody that came from a pure ego desire. I just saw this person, I believe online. I didn't even know them, and I was just like, that one. And it unfolded. So I know it works. I know it's possible. I've done it. And I have also held on to a specific person for way, way longer than I now know I should have. Because what kept me attached to the relationship was the idea of manifesting a specific person and the knowledge that it's possible. And it made me bypass my own truth and my own intuition. And it backfired. It really backfired. At the time, I feared that letting go would mean that I failed, even though in hindsight, I can see why that unfolded and that the desire never came from a pure desire in the first place. It was a desire that came from my own lack of self-worth. I unconsciously just wanted to prove something to myself. Plain and simple, hard truth. It was difficult to face. So I'm telling you these both sides, that I have manifested a specific person and also that I have had to let go of a specific person. And I want to say failed at manifesting a specific person, to show you that it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's story is different and there's no definite answer. And also to show you that I'm neither for or against. I've made experiences in both directions for very different, and as I said, very personal reasons. This journey is incredibly nuanced and incredibly individual. Now, the magic that came about with specific person manifestation and this whole community kind of rising to the surface is that people started looking at their internal beliefs about themselves and about relationships and about the people they dated, and they started to see the patterns. That's important in relationship and in manifesting relationships as a whole, but the magic that happened with specific person manifestations was that you could start to see, even when you move on to a new person, the dynamic doesn't necessarily change because the beliefs come from you. Or in other words, the patterns that you have in relationship will repeat even with a new person if you don't heal the beliefs within, if you don't integrate your own attachment wounding. And this realization can make it clear that it doesn't really matter whether you move on to a new person or not, because what matters is your own relationship patterns, your own belief systems, your own self-concept, because you will take that into the next relationship with an old person or a new person. Old person with an ex or your current partner or somebody entirely new. So the SP community brought about this realization that, hey, I don't need to just replace my partner, I actually need to heal the stuff within. And very often then the partner I currently have in front of me actually shifts and changes and starts matching my state, and I don't need to move on from person to person. The pitfall of that perspective is that sometimes people go too hard in that direction and make it mean that they have to change that person into who they want them to be, and they have to hold on to this person, which you don't. Whilst it's true that your patterns will also repeat with a new person won't fix your relationship patterns. That's on you to heal within you. It doesn't mean you have to hold on to a specific person, particularly when the relationship is abusive or toxic in any way. I will always recommend you to take care of yourself first. But as you can see, there's always two sides to the same perception, the same idea, the same concept. And for one person, it might be best to stay in that relationship because maybe it was never that that person wasn't a match before, but that their own internal beliefs sabotaged the relationship. And for another person, it might be better to move on to somebody else. So this is primarily why I don't really create specific person manifestation content, because it's so nuanced, it's so personal, it's so individual. I don't want you to take an idea from me that you should or shouldn't do this, or how the situation applies to you when your situation might be vastly different. As I said, it is something that I have worked through with clients, but here also, there have been different scenarios. I've worked with people who have then successfully manifested their specific person or improved their current relationship situation through this, through these techniques, through their own internal shifts. And I have also worked with people who had been holding on to a specific person for many, many months, sometimes years, and who finally realized that it was better to let go of them, and who ended up manifesting a relationship that was way more aligned with them, a partner that was way more aligned with them, way more desirable to them, and that are now realizing how long they hold on to something that they didn't actually want, which they obviously didn't know at the time they wanted it. So I support people with this and to find their own truth for their specific situation, but I don't really create general content on this topic because I don't want to keep anybody stuck in a potentially unhealthy attachment because a coach on the internet validates what they want to hear, which is maybe not necessarily what's best for them or what their deepest truth is. So I want to encourage you more to inquire what your truth is for yourself, rather than taking what somebody else says and applying it and hoping that it works and not questioning where you're at and what your intention is. And this primarily applies to people who have been stuck in limbo or going back and forth in their state when it comes to a specific person for years, because honestly, you deserve better than that. You deserve better than waiting for somebody to come around. So when you come to me as a client, whether you want to manifest a specific person or a relationship in general, or whether you don't even want a relationship, we always look at your relationship patterns because everything is about relationships. But particularly if this is what you want to manifest, or you want to manifest an improvement in your relationships, we always look at your relationship patterns first. We look at your vision. We look at your core desires. And we actually work on releasing all attachment to a specific person. Even if that's who you want, we work on releasing that attachment because, to be honest, that's the only way to manifest them anyway. If you need them to be there, if you need them to fill a void, if you need them to show up a certain way, it's not going to work. It's not going to fulfill you. So first of all, we remove the attachment. And that can feel really, really scary anyway for people, especially if they're caught up in such a need for a specific person and placing their happiness on being with a specific person. And then sometimes through these self-concept shifts, they end up manifesting that specific person. They get the clarity on, this is who I want, but from an integrated and embodied place. And sometimes they have to face the hard truth that they were holding on to something or someone that wasn't actually intuitively in their soul right for them, that was maybe even unhealthy for them, that actually made them devalue themselves. And now I'm going to say something which is maybe mildly activating for some of you that are wanting to manifest a specific person and that are maybe having some insecurities come up or some doubts come up with regards to that desire. And that's that, in my experience with working with many, many people now, 90% of the time, once people step into their worth and realize who they really are and step into their ideal self-concept, become the version they have always been, but maybe couldn't fully tap into before, 90% of them realize it was never about a specific person. It was never about exactly specifically that person. Most of the time, the reason they held on to a specific person, and I know this can feel activating for some of you, was not because their soul yearned for this specific person, but because they were actually living in lack and in fear, and their fear of letting go of that specific person was so big because they were worried there was nothing more aligned or better out there for them. Because here's how the brain works, right? We're not looking past our limitations. I read somewhere recently that when you ask people to envision what their life may be like 15 years in the future, most of them will describe their life in the same place they live now, or in the same job, or in the same relationship, when very likely 15 years from now, a lot in their life will have changed. Think about how much changed in the last few years alone globally. But people don't think about that because in your perception, you can only really perceive what you've experienced. You can only really envision or similar things to what you've experienced. You don't really envision the unexpected, right? That's why it's unexpected. So something or someone who you haven't met yet, that's a lot more difficult to envision and to tap into than the person that's familiar to you. So you might not even be able to see how there could be something better out there for you. And there likely is. Not because you're not supposed or you're not allowed to have this specific person, but because personally, I don't believe in the concept of the one. I believe there is many ones out there for all of us, I believe it would be very sad if there was only this one specific person for you, and if it didn't work out with them, then you're doomed to die alone. That's not how it is. There's many, many people that are a great match for you. So there's a difference whether your specific person is a preference or whether it's the only person for you and it's everything you want and you're so grasping on to this one person or this one relationship. And that's why often when people step into their worth and that lack mindset disappears and we step into abundance, it doesn't need to be that specific person anymore. They actually realize that their core desire underneath that is a specific type of relationship and a specific type of person, not necessarily that person. Could be that person, but it doesn't have to be. What they did was they projected their vision of their ideal relationship onto that person that was familiar. They held on to an ideal that sometimes wasn't even who that person was, that just came from not being abundant. Because when you live in an abundant state, you can see that whatever vision, whatever ideal you have can exist many, many, many times and does exist many, many times. The other thing is, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that teaching manifestation is kind of just a side effect of what I do. Even my entire coaching program doesn't really revolve around manifestation alone. It revolves around you rebirthing yourself into the most aligned, most authentic version of yourself, stepping into your ideal self-concept, because this entire journey is about you. And when we make it about your self-concept, your authenticity, you falling deeply and fully in love with yourself, then you can start to see clearly. Then you can suddenly be in this abundant place where you know that the kind of person, the kind of relationship, the kind of partner you envision exists many, many times, and that maybe that specific person is the preference for that, but that you don't have to hold on to one specific idea. And you can see where, yeah, I do have the preference for this person. Or you can see where you were maybe just in fear, where you were maybe just trying to make something happen because of what you would make that mean about you, what you would make that mean about your worth, about your success, about your ability to manifest, about how other people perceive you and see you. And then once they are in that state of self-worth, once they have stepped into that self-concept, then if it is that one person, that will happen automatically. That doesn't need to be forced. That doesn't need to be resisted. That doesn't need to be pushed. That doesn't need to be put on a pedestal. That just shifts automatically without you needing to try. And that's why I really like making this whole journey about you. Not about the thing, not about the person. Even when clients come to me and their initial desire is I want to manifest this specific person, I always make it about them. Their beliefs about themselves, their attachment to the past, their states of consciousness, their potential self-blame or self-victimization or lack consciousness, or their lack of self-responsibility. We never make it about the other person. We never make it about getting anything. And we definitely don't make it about changing or controlling anybody outside of yourself. Manifestation isn't about control, but that's a whole different video. So this is all I can think of now with regards to this topic, but there's, I'm sure, a lot more. Do leave me a comment. Let me know how you feel, what you think. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Share this video if you know somebody who you feel should see it, because I do think there are a lot of people out there who need to hear some of these things and who need to liberate themselves and just step into their own worth again. So if you know someone like that, go ahead and share it. Follow me on Instagram, send me a message there. We can dive deeper. I love connecting with you all personally. And if you are looking to really change your self-concept and you want to work with me privately, then I've got the information for my coaching program, Recreate Yourself, linked down below. And remember that I currently have some offers and discounts on until Sunday this week. That's all linked below with all the information. And then I'm going to see you for next week's video, if you're still here. Love you.